realize that I didn't record any of that audio. My laptop camera picked it up, but it sounded like a car crash. So, we're gonna try again. And maybe I'm gonna have a little bit more stream of consciousness than in take one. But guys, we're gonna talk about some movies. And I'm gonna talk about some movies for the second time today. And I'm actually excited because this is an opportunity to improve where that first video I wasn't fully 100% on. My first movie on my comfort day movie list, sick day movie list, either or, is 13 Going on 30. I've had an obsession with this movie since I was a little kid. I think it came out in either 2002 or 2004. And I knew watching this movie as like a 6 or 8 year old that I too, like Jenna Rink, wanted to be 30 and flirty and thriving. She had it all down to, she had the formula nailed down. I think. I'm not 30 yet. I have a few more years. But this movie is so important to me that on my 30th birthday, before the clock hits midnight, I want to watch this movie. And I want to have it timed up so that when young Jenna Rink goes into the closet and magically becomes 30, that moment is the same minute that the clock hits midnight on my 30th birthday. And then my 30s can be 30, flirty, and thriving. Just like Jenna Rink's. I swear I'm gonna do that. I've been wanting to do that since I was like 18. I know in my heart that I will do the math on how to time 13 Going on 30 to midnight on my 30th birthday. This movie, guys, has some of the greatest fashion in 2000s era films ever. It has so many of the core tropes of like a 2000s coming of age slash, I don't know if I can call it no, I'm gonna take a stance and say that it is a rom-com, but there's nothing wrong with the word rom-com, because rom-coms are good movies, and 13 Going on 30 is the best movie. This movie has one of my favorite costumes in film history, in fashion history. When Jenna goes to the after-work party, she wears the iconic Versace party dress. But what you don't know about that iconic Versace party dress is that it's two Versace party dresses, and they chopped them in half and they sewed them together. So the skirt is from a different dress and the top is from a different dress, but the two of them make the best dress ever. The best Versace dress ever, the best movie dress ever. It's so cute. I think about it every time that I think of iconic costuming. It's another reason why this movie is one of the best movies ever. And Judy Greer is the villain, and it's amazing. I was looking at an Instagram comment. It was a picture of, I think, a wax dummy of J-Lo, somebody says, somebody said, oh, I thought that third one was Judy Greer, but I guess I'm always kind of looking for Judy Greer. And wow, that is so heart-touching. And one of the few times that I responded to a stranger on Instagram, I said, this is too real. Judy Nation. So for all of those reasons, it's usually the number one on my list. It's the first on my list to watch when I'm not feeling well. I have to watch 13 going on 30. And then the next few spots are kind of, they can float. The other movies on my sick day movie list can kind of go in different orders depending on how I'm feeling. But let me tell you one thing that's a trend amongst all of my sick day movies is that they are long. They are long movies. I seem to only watch extremely long movies. But when I watch a short movie, it's like 50 minutes. It's like, how did they even release this as a movie? It's so short. I'm looking at The Little Mermaid. It's on this list, but it's incredibly short. And it's the only one that's going to be short. Because the next lit movie on my sick or comfort day movie list is Gone Girl. Based on the novel by Gillian Flynn. Starring Rosamund Pike and also Ben Affleck, but I don't really care for his parts because you can't outperform Rosamund Pike in that movie. Amazing Amy is Amazing Amy for a reason. It's one of the few movies where it's based off of a book, and I've actually read the book. That just doesn't happen. I'm not too big of a reader. I've gotten a little bit better as I've gotten older, and audiobooks have become a thing. But this is one of the few where I've actually read the book, like I did the page turning and the looking manually. It's such a long movie that I will decide what parts of it I want to watch. Like if I watched from when Amy is living at the motel to when Amy leaves the motel, that's like a whole movie experience for me. But then I could also watch when Amy is at the casino and then on to the end, and that portion of the movie is like a whole different movie. And I rarely watch the beginning part if I'm not watching the whole movie, because the beginning of the movie is really Ben Affleck heavy and he doesn't do anything for me. But that movie's like it's fantastic. It's probably the movie that I've seen the most in my lifetime, because me and my best friend we used to skip school and we would watch Gone Girl like more than once a week. So I've probably seen it at least 40 times, and it's like almost a 3-hour movie, I think. So if I went out on a limb and said, I have spent 120 hours of my life watching Gone Girl, that number is not that wrong. That is almost the truth. It's a lot of movie that I spent a lot of time watching, and it was all worth it. And sticking with the melodramas on my sick day movie list, talk about Showgirls. It's just the best goddamn movie ever. It's just the best goddamn movie ever. There's not an event that I don't want to wear the Nomi or the crystal gold tinsel ponytail to. Not that I own any gold tinsel, which I should. At this point, I've thought about buying gold tinsel enough to put in my hair that you would think I would have done it. But I've still yet to. So that's on my list. Stay tuned for my video where I give myself gold tinsel and hair. But this movie, it's a movie that I have to order takeout for. Because it's Nomi Malone eats so many cheeseburgers in this movie that if I don't have a cheeseburger, I actually start regretting watching Showgirls, which I should never. That's a feeling that should never happen. So, it's also a movie that is so long, but it's a movie that is so long that I forget a lot of the stuff that happens in it. And it's like a new viewing experience every time that I watch it, because there's just so much in this movie. It's like 10 different movies, but they're all amazing movies. They're all amazing movies. And for all of those reasons, it's a must on my sick day list. Sorry. So, with the fabulous costuming on my brain, let's talk about Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. It's one of the 2 classic movies on this list. Yeah, 2. And it's a movie that is like the feeling of a warm blanket for me. It's another long one, and it has this great effect where it's from, when was it made? Excuse me. I feel like it was made in like 1960 or 1961, because, oh my gosh. It has this fantastic audio quality that a lot of movies from this era have, where it has kind of like a subtle white noise behind the whole thing, and everything sounds a little fuzzy, and something about that is just so relaxing to me. And besides that, it's got just such a cozy vibe to it. It's a movie that really is about the dynamic of 2 best friends forever. Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell's characters are kind of the best example of like what a best friend looks like in this movie, I think, because they are so devoted to each other's friendship. At any time that there's something that would cause a detriment to one of the other women, these 2 stick up for each other and defend each other or protect each other or uplift each other, and it's just really sweet. And they're both so fabulous, and it's a movie. It's Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe on the Titanic, but the boat doesn't sink, so you just get to enjoy a nice cruise ride and fabulous dinner outfits, and the musical aspect of this movie makes it doesn't really enjoy musicals, but I think my sick day movie list has something like 3 or 4 musicals on it. So I guess I am a person who likes musicals, even though I'll always say I'm not. It's just a force of habit, but I don't know what habit that is. So, why not continue with another one of the aforementioned musicals? Because on this list of a person who doesn't like musicals, with 4 musicals on their sick day movie list, I have to talk about Enchanted. Is a movie that is always going to make me feel better when I'm feeling unwell, or I'm feeling sick, or, anything. Enchanted is one of the last, I think it's the last movie I can remember going to the movie theaters with my grandmother for. So for that reason, it always has a really special spot in my heart. But also, just any Amy Adams movie ever is always going to make me feel better, because she is the greatest actress of all time, and there's nothing she can't do, and her performances are literally healing. They have medicinal properties. Even sharp objects is healing. Amy Adams in Talladega Nights, A Ballad of Ricky Bobby. That's a healing performance. She's incredible in that movie. Amy Adams in Arrival. She's incredible in that movie. Amy Adams in Enchanted, which is on this list. She's incredible in that movie. And justice for Enchanted, because I think we're getting an Enchanted sequel. I think after years of Disney refusing to pay for Amy Adams' likeness, they've started coming out with Enchanted merchandise. And also there's, I believe, a team working on pre-production for an Enchanted 2 as I record. So, Enchanted Army wins. But really, the Enchanted spot could be filled by any Amy Adams role, because that's just how stunning of an actress she is, how amazing of a performance she gives, that in any mood I'm in, I'm always going to want to watch an Amy Adams feature. So, next on my list, another timeless classic, is Moonstruck. Cher and Nicolas Cage fall in love, and that's really all that I think I have to say about Moonstruck, right? Moonstruck is so relaxing to me. It's like, it has the same quality of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, where it's like a warm blanket has just been taken out of the dryer and somebody put it on my shoulders and then handed me a mug of something hot to drink, and they turned the heat up, and I have my sleep mask on because I'm gonna fall asleep watching this incredible movie. And Cher won an Oscar for this movie for a reason, because I'm a super Cher fan, and it is so unlike Cher, this character that she plays so beautifully. Who would have ever thought that Cher could enwrap herself in the life of a mortuary assistant who's struggling to find love. It's a hilarious movie, and it's also just a fantastic film about family dynamics, because the movie movie starts off, and Cher says, "My husband died in a plane crash." And her boyfriend says, "I want to get married to you, but tomorrow I have to go on a plane to Italy because my mother's dying." And she's like, "No, don't get on a plane crash because you'll die." And he's like, "Well, I'll make our engagement really short and we can get married in a month." And she's like, "A month? You could die before then." And he's like, "Why do you think I'm gonna die?" And she's like, "I just think you are." And he doesn't die. But what does happen is their engagement falls apart because Cher meets her fiance's brother, who's Nicolas Cage, in probably my second favorite Nicolas Cage performance. National Treasure 1 and 2 are god tier films, and I'll watch them back to back every day if I could. But the minute that Nicolas Cage shows up, it goes to a place of Saw for a moment, because he is talking about how he lost his hand in a bread cutter, and he's standing near the bread cutter in this introduction, and you think he's gonna stick his hand in the bread cutter again, or he's gonna stick somebody else's hand in the bread cutter, and you're like, please don't stick Cher's hand in the bread cutter, Nicolas Cage. And then they fall in love, and it's a beautiful story, and it's a movie that just makes me appreciate really turning my brain off and just melting into where this movie wants to take me. So, I think there's only one animated film that I watch every time that I'm not feeling good, and that's The Little Mermaid. It's another musical, and it's also really short. I think this movie is only like 80 minutes, and every other movie that I love is like 4 hours. So I can usually fit it in on any day that I need to have a pick-me-up. And it's just the cutest movie. Ariel is my favorite Disney princess, and Ursula is one of my favorite villains of all time. The music, I know all of the words to, except for Les Poissons, because there's like French. And also I forget that that song is in the movie every time I watch it. But it is a really good song. But that's a movie that instantly just, sends a wave of relaxation down me. And it's really special. I love The Little Mermaid. And continuing on with a movie that is just so special to me and I love so much is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's such a fantastic film that I don't think we'll ever get a movie quite like it, because it's one of the few gay films that has almost no tragedy in it. Oh my god, there is a giant hawk that just flew past my window. That was crazy. It is such an uplifting movie that's almost about just, like radical acceptance, self-acceptance, self oh god, what am I trying to find the words? It's a good movie. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is an excellent movie. It's so fantastic that it was made, because it truly is just a movie that is there to make gay people happy and all other people. But there's this kind of thing in Hollywood where every gay movie has to be a tragedy, and I literally hate those movies. I can't watch them at all. But this movie I can watch the hell out of, and I can watch it backwards and forwards 3 times a day, any time of day, and I'll stop what I'm doing if it's on to watch this movie. Because it has just everything. It's one of my favorite trope in films is trips or vacations. Movies about vacations, or movies about trips, or movies where they go on a trip are my favorite types of movies. Sex and the City 1 and 2 are 2 of my favorite movies ever, simply because they go on trips. Even though Sex and the City 2 is an absolute disaster, they go on a trip. They go on a vacation, and I love a movie where the characters go on vacation. Similarly, Are We There Yet? They go on a trip. Rugrats Go to Paris. Vacation movie. Christmas Vacation. They don't go on a trip in Christmas Vacation. They go on a trip in Family Vacation. They go to Wally World. And I love them for that, because that's an incredible vacation movie. And another movie where they go on a trip is Terminator Dark Fate. It's another one of my must-watches when I'm not feeling good. And I think it's like the only action movie that I'll watch when I'm not feeling good, because it's fantastic. It is one of the best movies made ever, I think. It is exactly what I want in a movie. Every part of it, every moment of this movie is amazing. The 3 women leads are all some of the best performances in an action movie, or movies period, ever. Sarah Connor is so fantastic in this iteration of the Terminator series, because it's you watch her relearn humanity after her greatest tragedy, which is, losing John. And it's wonderful to see this this movie where it's the mentor dynamic kind of shifts back and forth between Mackenzie Davis's character and Sarah Connor, and also I'm forgetting the other girl's name. Oh my gosh. Please bear with me. I'm gonna look it up so quickly. And I'm going to remember her name before I finish typing Terminator Dark Fate into my phone. But I feel bad that I can't think of her name, because she's great. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh. Daniela is one of my favorite characters in a movie ever. Like, I really love this actress's performance of this big sister character who learns her own strength throughout the movie, and it's fantastic to see her evolve in a way that I feel like a lot of action movies don't let the girl main character do. And it's fantastic because this movie has 3 out of the 4 leads are women, and sick day list. It's a movie that should win an Oscar every day of its existence. It should win an Oscar every day since it came out. And it should also win an Oscar for every day before it came out, just to make up for lost Oscar wins that this movie should have gotten. And I think we're gonna do one last movie, and that movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's another extremely long movie, and it's also an extremely long movie where I forget so much of what happens in this movie. Sorry, I had to sneeze, and I sneeze like a car crash. It's horrific how loud I sneeze. Not relaxing at all. So, continuing, Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's a movie that is so insanely long that I forget probably 75% of how much goes on in this movie every time I watch it. And I watch this movie a lot. I probably watch Breakfast at Tiffany's more than the average person does. I probably watch it like at least twice. Every other month or so, which is a lot. It's a long movie. And when Holly Golightly goes to jail, I literally forget her entire jail sequence every time I watch this movie. I'm like, huh, Holly disappeared for a while. Oh, she's in jail. I don't remember her going to jail. Okay, well, that's over. It's such an adorable movie, barring the very insensitive Mickey Rooney character. You know, we don't claim that performance, but this is a movie that I love to watch when I'm not feeling good, because it really takes you out of whatever headspace you're in, and you're kind of just in this world that they've put you in. And I love Breakfast at Tiffany's. There's so much that there's so many style moments that I feel like are forever going to influence all costumes and all style trends forever, because it's just such a classic, such a timeless styling. I wish that I could squeeze into everything in Holly's wardrobe, but I think the only thing that would fit me that she owns is her sleep mask that has eyelashes. My sleep mask has a pocket for putting in a sleeve of lavender, and you microwave it for like 3 minutes and then put it on, and it just melts your eyeballs. It's so amazing, but it doesn't have eyelashes. I should probably add eyelashes to it. But Breakfast at Tiffany's is a fantastic movie that always makes me feel better. And I'm trying to think back to an hour ago when I was recording this video the first time, and I talked about almost a completely different list of movies, or the movies that I did talk about that were on this list had completely different reasons why I loved them. So, wherever you are in the world, if you're watching this early in the day, I hope you have a fantastic day. Or if you're watching this at night, I hope you have a great night's sleep. And if you're a movie lover, I hope that the next time you watch something you haven't seen before, you so much for clicking on this video. And thank you so much for watching this video. And thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for being here with me while I ramble a second time.